welcome to Becoming the Goat, guys. This is episode 16. Can you believe it? This is episode 16. That's 4 months, right? If you look back at all my videos, you'll see I started in where I was in my little office, and then ever since I've had a different background. It's because I've had to move. Obviously I've had a lot of stuff going on. I think I was telling you guys about it. Loads of life stress, and now I'm somewhere else again. I've had to move. I won't go into details until just specifics for a little while, just because of like safety, basically safety reasons. So yeah, but welcome to Becoming the Goat. This is episode 16. I spent my life living for other people, now designing a life for me. And when I watch this, right, I'm looking at myself in the camera, and when I'm watching this, looking at my background and thinking where I am, sometimes I feel almost like an imposter. I feel like I'm trying to give a message of hope while still trying to navigate my own life. But that's the thing about what I come on here to do, is that you will see me not at picture perfect. I don't think you'll ever see picture perfect. You may one day see the goals that I achieve, or you will, right, where I say, oh, I want 100,000 followers, oh, I want a new car, and my new home and all that kind of stuff. Those things will happen. But I always want you to understand that behind that, it doesn't mean it's picture perfect. Like, my life is all together. My life, like everybody else's life, has ups and downs. Sometimes we're doing well, sometimes we're not. Life changes in a different direction. Sometimes we let people into our lives that we really shouldn't have. We don't realise it until after the fact. Sometimes, like we say, we leave our families and have to start all over. And I'm like always looking for the negative, oh, what's wrong, and all this stuff that's happened in my life, and oh, I'm a failure and all that kind of, I'm an imposter, or I can't carry a message. And the reason why I do this and why people, I don't know, maybe follow, I have no idea actually, you tell me why. It might be because it's real, like I say, we'll talk about it. It comes to my head every fucking time, yeah. I'm gonna, like Tony Robbins, I always say it, Tony Robbins is like Mr. Life, all that kind of stuff. And he did come from a bad background, but like, I suppose an established person at the top of their game, and you look at someone, and then I feel like if you looked at me, you'd be like, what have you got to tell me about life? And you know what, I've got loads to tell you. I've got loads of stories of survival, and loads of and now my life today, I've started making choices that are choices based on how I feel. I was talking to my friend on Saturday afternoon. I'm saying I want to make a conscious choice about some of the decisions I made in my life. Like, why have I chose to live this life, try and be perfect, try and be like Miss Recovery, I want to live a life because I want people to have an impression that I've got my life all together, and it actually is nowhere near that. And actually, the realer I get, the better it is for me, because actually the things I've learned to try and do over particularly the last 4 months, I would say, is choose a life that is designed solely based on how I feel internally. Does it bring me peace? Does it bring me happiness? It's not performative. Because before this, that talks about episode 16, I spent my life living for other people. It's performative. It's people pleasing. It's codependency. It's saying yes when I want to say no. It's allowing people in my life who treat me badly and not fucking putting boundaries in. It's all this shit, yeah? And it's like, oh, because what I'm looking for is validation, love, acceptance. People to be like, oh yeah, she's all right, that girl. She's all right, Nick. Nick's well all right. Oh yeah, she'll do anything, Nick. Like that. But when people think she'll do anything, it also means that you are a fucking pushover. Oh yeah, just get Nick to do it. Oh yeah, fuck her, yeah. And then there's me, desperate to get validation. I want you to validate me. And yet they're thinking, well, yeah, whatever, don't need boundaries to Nick. Nick sets boundary, I'm not following that through because I don't need to. She don't even believe it herself, that kind of stuff. And it's like, I've spent a lot of my decisions based on what my family would think, what my husband would think, my ex-husband would think, what I'm supposed to achieve by this age, all that kind of, but I've done that. So all them years ago, when I got into recovery, I thought, what I'm going to do now is live the perfect life. I want to get married, maybe have children, but then I changed my mind. Marriage, children, and I hope that's not that noisy outside because someone's doing the garden. It's fucking raining. Marriage, children, house, career. I wanted to earn a lot of money, so I had a figure in my mind. I wanted to earn like a lot of money a month, and I thought that all of that stuff is going to equal social acceptability. I'm going to accept you're going to accept me, and I'm going to accept myself. Anyway, I hit all of that. Obviously not the kids, but I got married, bought a house, you know, social acceptability, had a career, all this stuff. And I was the most miserable I've ever been in my whole entire life. I was literally so miserable, yeah, that I couldn't cope. And I remember thinking like that was the goalpost, like that's it. As soon as I get that, I'm amazing. And I got that, and it wasn't amazing. And it was almost like when I had all of that stuff, that was at the height of 2023, and then just after that I had a breakdown. I had a mental breakdown, like the complete opposite crash after getting everything that I thought I'd wanted, and you know, recovery and husband and clean, you know, and all this stuff. And I want to live a life that looks good. I want to live a life that looks good to you, not to me. I want you to look at me and think, yeah, she's got it together. Yeah, amazing. I love her. She's amazing. We accept her value. She's amazing. Next example, look at all the stuff she's got. Look at all the stuff she's achieved. You know, and all that kind of stuff. And people, I want outsiders looking in, thinking, yeah, amazing. And I'm at the most miserable I could ever be. Ever be. You know, like that kind of stuff where I think I've made it. I've made it. I've got it. Everything I could ever wanted. I've made it. And today I am on this journey where I am starting to live a life where I don't care what, like, these rules that we set out for ourselves. The rules that we set out for ourselves are rules that need to sit right with me. I need to stop. So this is the thing, right? The more you crave external validation, the smaller your world is. I tell you for why, yeah? Because your happiness is dependent on how people see you. Your sense of self-worth is dependent on how people accept you, how well you're doing. Oh yeah, she's doing amazing. Oh yeah, and all this kind of stuff. And what happens is over time we abandon ourselves. So it's not about you. It's nothing to do with you. Your life isn't about how you want to live. It's nothing to do with that. It's about keeping everybody else happy. Think about your family system, the way the family system's set up, and how many times in your life, in your family, did you say yeah, or you try to do something that you didn't want to do, you abandon yourself time and time again in order to keep the peace, in order to keep everybody else happy. And we did that, and then all of a sudden, you're miserable. And we abandon ourselves. And then over the years, I had to learn what I like. I had to learn. So take away all of this shit, yeah? Me left on my own, right here, right now. I am on my own. I'm by myself. I live my life for myself. You know, and when I say by myself, like, it's not like I haven't got friends and all, you know, people in my life and stuff. But when I say, the choices I make, where I'm going to live, what I'm going to do, what kind of career do I want, what kind of people do I want in my life, how happy, what things do I do that make me happy, yeah? So it's like, what do I actually like? How do I eventually want my home to feel? Like, who do I want around me? What do I want my mornings to look like? What do I do throughout my day? What do I enjoy doing? What don't I enjoy doing? Someone says, do you want to do this? I'm like, do I want to do that? Do I like that? Or am I pretending? When I was, oh my God, I've got a story. When I was years ago, so obviously, as you know, I entered the 12-step recovery years ago. I don't do meetings anymore, but I used to do meetings. And when I did the meetings, there's in the program, it's called the 12-step program. So it's like, you would have heard of AA, 12 steps, and you would have seen it in films if you don't know what it is, or NA, you would have seen it. And they have the 12 steps, and basically the 12 steps is a program that you work through from 1 to 12 that help you on your program of recovery to get clean and stay clean, you know, and all that, or work on yourself. Anyway, it worked for a while, and I found the part of the program that I found which was really difficult was the fact that, especially after years of being in the program, it's like it's very focused on the negative, so how defective I am, and I have defects, but it was always focused on the bad. It felt like my family, the bad, you're bad, negative, and it's like, I don't really want to focus on that. But in the beginning, I kind of like I had to focus on some stuff that I needed to look at just so I didn't continue to make the same mistakes. Anyway, in the program it talks about, there's a step called step 4, and it's about you as a person, all the things you resent, you know, sexual behaviour, all these different things. But it talks about your values. So I'll never forget it. It was clear as day. I think I'd done it in 2013 when I was going through that program work, or 2014 maybe, with a sponsor. And she said to me, "What are your values?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea." I had no idea what I liked. And I remember, even because it threw me back to all these memories of like, what do I like, what I don't like. And I even remember, like, you know, when you get in the car and you get your friends would get in the car with you. And I was afraid to play music, even to that point of like, I was so scared that my friends in the car wouldn't like my music choices, that I wouldn't really put music on. So I'd always be, oh, you can do that. Or because I was so, this core wound of like, I don't want to make a mistake. I even have it today. I don't want to make a mistake. I want to appear as perfect. I want you to see me as perfect. But there is no one's marking my life in it. So, you know, like this perfection, this perfect life that I'm trying to get, no one's marking it saying that's 10 out of 10, A star, yeah, you're fucking doing everything you're meant to do. Like, you've come to the end, you know, like, yeah, I try and live a good, clean life, and I try not to hurt people in the process. They're the big things for me, right? So my things are, I try and live a clean life. And what I mean by a clean life is I don't go out of my way to damage people in it. I don't want to hurt people. That's it. You know, like I try and do my best. I try and live a life that's best for me, and I try not to damage others. And if I'm doing that, then I feel like I'm actually doing well. I'm doing successful. My life is kind of successful. I'm doing successful, doesn't even make sense. So that's my plan. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, my whole world fell apart. I say that. It came apart so it could come back together. Like, if I look at my life, where it was and how bad I was feeling, and now how I feel, it kind of feels like it's coming together, because I'm making choices that are based on me and what I want to do and how I feel and how I see myself. And, you know, not about that external successes. You know, like, people would look at you and think, you know, I wanted people to see me as like success, keeping my marriage together at any cost, having everybody approve of me, having family. And maybe it isn't keeping the marriage together at any cost. Maybe it isn't fucking having everybody approve of you. Maybe it isn't having the perfect family. Maybe success looks more like peace, safety, freedom, work, healthy relationships, a home that you enjoy coming back to. And maybe rebuilding isn't about getting your old life back. Maybe it's finally getting intentional about the next one. My new life is very intentional. I will choose things that sit right within me, things that give me peace. Now, that's not easy. I'm not saying I'm a peaceful person, because I'm fucking not. I'm far from peaceful. I feel like, particularly at the minute, let's have a little truth bomb. I feel like I have been I'm running on reactions. I'm reactive. My life isn't proactive, it's almost reactive. I'm reacting to situations around me. And I suppose at the minute, yeah, because I'm, you know, not got a lot of stability and all that kind of stuff, yeah. But actually, no, what it's doing is it's resetting me into the new part, like where I live, people, you know, like relationships, my career, talking to people. And all of this stuff here is stuff that I'm building and learning. Like, this is stuff that this what's happening to me, right? This thing here, these things have happened to me time and time again. This is just in real time. Me moving, my relationship, all that, you know, the divorce, and currently going through like a few different situations, legal situations and all that kind of stuff. That's real time stuff. I've had this stuff before that I've just obviously not documented. My breakdown if I was online in 2023, I might have been documenting my breakdown, you know, and leaving a job. And yeah, just my whole world falling apart. Like, this falling apart and rebuilding has happened once, twice, 3 times. You know, it's happened time and time and time and time and time again. And you know what's happened every time? That my life has just fallen from under me and started again. It's gone 10 times better. Every single time without fail. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. I wouldn't be here sitting here like, you know, my life. You look around me and you think, oh, fucking, I feel sorry for that. And I'm like, life is good. Life feels amazing, because the life around me now is the life that I'm looking I'm moving forward into a better space, more productive, more peaceful. I'm rebuilding a life that isn't based on somebody else's expectation on me. You know, the amount of times I've lived my life for other people in this world, in my whole, I'm 38, I won't even say the last 37 years, I'm saying the last year, maybe not, maybe less, you know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on myself, maybe 2-3 years since 2020, maybe 3 years. But it's up and down, I'm still learning. I don't want to live my life for everybody else. I want to live a life that is for me, my community, becoming the GOAT, my career, my content, my future home, my routine, my friendships, my relationships with myself. Like, how do I feel? How do I see myself? What gets me up out of bed in the mornings? Because I could come on here and spout fucking a million bits of shit at you and say, yeah, this is this. I feel amazing, and I do most of the time feel amazing, but also at the same time, I still battle. This is the bit that I want you to understand, yeah. I still have life struggles, but I still get up every day and fight. You know why? Because I want to live the best life that I possibly can. I still get up. I don't get beaten down where I'm like, oh, I can't cope. Okay, I want to give up. I don't give up. And I say this time and time and time again. You don't get to give up. You haven't got a choice. What kind of life, what would you want your life to look like in terms of rebuilding? Are you happy with how your life is? Perfect. Great. If you don't need to make any changes, don't make any changes. Do you need to make changes? I know I fucking do. I don't even have a home. I want stability. I don't pretend though. What's the point of coming on here and pretending that my life is fucking phenomenal? It's not real. We all go through life stuff, life situations, and sometimes it feels like it's never ending. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's like, if nobody's opinion mattered, what is one thing you would change about your life? What would make you happy? I've got loads. I've got loads that I've just started to do. That I've started to think, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to live like when I tell you, because obviously I mentioned it earlier about not going to meetings anymore, not going to recovery meetings. I haven't been to recovery meetings in a very, very long time, and it was kind of like I made a decision where I was like, they're just not really for me anymore. They're not really the place that I want to be. I've had it for quite some time where I'm in therapy, and I am working towards a life of bettering myself and not being so hard on myself, and actually trying to focus on my assets and my successes and my achievements. And you know, I've got issues, we all have issues, but I found in the recovery program I would be focusing so much on the things that were wrong with me that I'd always forget to focus on the things that were right with me. So I say it time and time again, like, you look at all your values and things like that, but there's a lot of, you know, looking at your defects and all that kind of stuff, and actually there's like a small section on your assets, and it's like, it should be the opposite way. Like, your defects, yeah, and then your asset. Like, I need to look at the things that are good for me, what's good about me, what's right with me, instead of what's wrong with me. I spent years of my life, this life that I'm fucking mapping out for everybody else, because I spend all of my fucking life thinking, what's fucking wrong with me? Every day I went, what's wrong with me? Family say, what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Then I get into recovery, and it's like, well, what's right with you? Oh, no, I'm defected. I'm this and that and that. And don't get me wrong, I had to look at some things that weren't necessarily, you know, I look at the things, my flaws, patterns of behaviour that keep me stuck. And then after that, okay, we need to start looking at things that are right with us, you know, positive things. Where's the positivity? How do I live a life that looks right for me? Focus on all the things that are bad about me and just drag myself down. So one of those things is like, what's good about me? Oh, I don't know, actually. What do I like to do? Oh, I don't know. What do I like in life? You know, like this stuff that I need to try and figure out. So yeah, sometimes I come in here and I feel like I'm trying to share a message of hope. I'm trying to share a message of hope to people where I'm like, guys, life gets better. Apologies, guys, I had to cut it. It's noisy outside. Anyway, one of the things is, I wanna just before we wrap up. Also, this thing of like, when I talk like this, like at least sometimes I watch myself and I'm like, oh, you're a fraud. I'm watching myself now and I think, oh, you're a fraud. Stop talking shit. And that's why it's really important, you know, like, I don't know, I want people to not have this impression that I'm solely on my own, yeah. Like, I do have a life where I live by myself and da-da-da. But one of the things I do have is a support network. I have a support network of women, particularly around me, that help me. Because in order to get through life, we need people, we need community, we need each other, right? I say it all the time about we need each other. And it's like, we need to have people in our corner that think the same or are on the same journeys and things like that, because I'm not saying I'm rebuilding my life and then, I'm doing this all on my own and it's amazing and life is wonderful, because naturally when I do that, it's fucking horrendous at times. Or I can be really, remember, I have that voice inside of me that says, what's wrong with me? That negative voice, or what's wrong with me? Oh, there's something wrong with me. Oh, I can't do anything right. And those times are when I need someone to build me up or support. People are like, oh, or even identification, where you're like, I say this and someone says, yeah, me too. I think, oh, thank God I'm not on my own. I'm not on my own. And it's like that. It's like I need people around me who get me. Hence why I created the Go Collective. It is linked. It's a collective for like-minded souls, basically, particularly from the estrangement background. But if you're coming out of toxic relationships or you're just having a hard time, and what we're focused on is rebuilding. So it's not being about it's not staying stuck in the past. It's actually moving into the future. So it's all about rebuilding. And I almost say, let's take estrangement for example. Your life before estrangement and then life after estrangement. Now, when you're estranged and you've made the choice to go no contact, what else are you looking to do in rebuilding that life? How do you want your life to look for you, the people around you, the home you want to live in, the stability, how you see yourself, the relationships in your life, how you feel about yourself, your values, all this kind of stuff. What brings you joy? What brings you joy? Nobody else. What brings you joy? And that's the bit where you're like, what kind of goals do I have? What do I want to achieve? Am I getting outside? What am I doing for my mental health? How am I looking after myself? What are the things that I'm doing for me that's not performative? No one's watching you in it. So what's the things that I'm doing just to be happy for me? What kind of things am I doing that will benefit my life and nobody else's? Yeah. If you want to join, the link's there. Message me. Do all that stuff, yeah. We're currently welcoming Founding Goats to the collective. So it'd be nice to have you there. And listen, I've spent my life, I don't know if you resonate with this. If you don't, okay, keep coming and you might find something you resonate with, but it's fucking noisy out there. Anyway, listen to this, I'm before I spent my life at 38 years old living for everybody else. Before 38, I spent my life up until the last, say, year, living for everybody else. If you can identify with that, what do you want your life to look like now? Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be performative and live for other people? You tell me. It's up to you. Anyway, we're on the road to 100k subscribers. I'm going to do this goal of 100k subscribers. I just need to keep persevering. You know, or any progress, like small progress, is still progress, yeah? Watch. Remember, I'm going to say, we're going to look at this. Hindsight is a wonderful thing one day. I'm going to have an episode called Hindsight is a Wonderful Thing. I'm going to start to look back and see all the things that have been achieved. And you're going to watch it in real time. So, yeah, if you don't subscribe, hit the subscription button, wherever it is below. Come join us. I want to ask you a question, because people watch this and I'm like, I wonder why they watch. What is it? What is it that you're watching? Why? For what reason? Let me know. But yeah, welcome. If you want to start rebuilding a life that is nothing to do with me, a life that suits you, come join us. Welcome to Becoming the Go, everyone. See you next week. Love ya.